Diaspora Moments by Dion London.
Okay. Was that tinted? Did you have a haircut?
You like it?
Fresh,
You're looking
nice.
You're looking dapper.
I wanted
Looking nice.
pat the side of the head. Whether did pat the side of the head?
Right.
Oh, God.
So before we get into our conversation today, let me welcome our viewers. Welcome to the Diaspora Moment podcast. My name is Dion. I'm your host. I have Mr. Tainton and Shola here with me.
Yeah.
So
so annoying. What the heck is wrong with
Did I say anything? I just.
Annoying.
So I was on TikTok, right? And I was scrolling. You know how TikTok, like, once you start watching one thing, the TikTok algorithm begins to start giving you something similar for you to watch.
Yeah.
And there was this, it was a podcast about the same topic, but then I saw another, I don't know whether it was a scripted show or whether it was like really real, but it was actually recorded. And I wanted to get both of your opinion before actually we get into what we're going to discuss today, which I know I'm afraid of your mouth today. What you going to
Me, I'm a good boy.
the baby mamas over there, I'm afraid of what you're going to say to them.
Boy.
When are you ever a good boy?
Right.
When?
You were born bad, I was born good.
So there was this conversation again on TikTok where, so you a man, so I'm going to use as an example. So you have a wife and you have a mother who sits at the front.
Of the car?
Yeah.
This is not really a hard question. It's
And after you're done, right? I don't know why I guess it's such a big deal because the podcast one that I saw, the guy made it vividly that if you are the wife, you always have to sit at the back.
No.
And his mom has to sit at the front, and it's not debatable. And then I was scrolling, and then that's what I said. I don't know whether it was scripted, but there was a guy, and the mother was already at the front, and the wife came in, and the guy told the wife to go sit at the back, and the wife was like, "I'm not going anywhere. I'm your wife. I'm supposed to sit at the front. So tell your mom to take her ass back at the."
She said that?
Yes, and the guy was like, "Why is it a big deal for you to sit at the front?
Yes,
Go sit at the back." And then so she argued that I'm your wife and she's your mom, so your mom should go sit at the back and I should sit at the front. And she said that if I don't sit at the front, I'm not getting into the car. And she actually didn't get into the car.
okay, so now let's mark the time. What time did this happen? Now, let me say that she came in, this conversation started at 10 o'clock. Right? And she said all that by 10:05. By 10:10, she'll have her divorce papers.
I am
End
done
of
with
it.
you.
By 10:10, she'll have her divorce papers.
So to you feel like your wife should sit at the back and your mom should sit at the front.
Okay.
Is that what it is?
And the reason why, in the
Wait,
natural,
what's
in
the
natural
order for
sense,
him? The wife in the back?
Wife at the back,
At the
mom
back,
sit at
mom-
the front.
Okay.
you know why she'll have a divorce paper at 10 o'clock?
Why?
Number one, you came and my mom was sitting at the front.
Okay.
It shouldn't even be an argument. You should just sit at the back.
100%.
Right.
I agree.
How many times does my mom sit in our car?
Right.
How many times? She's old. Maybe at that point, there's more room at the front. There's so many things, right? Or maybe she just wanted to sit at the front. It's not a big deal. We are all going to the exact same place. How many times is she going to get to do that? Right? But because you don't respect me as a husband, because you don't respect my mom and not only that, you probably come from a very poor family. You probably come from you probably destitute. You probably delusional. A whole bunch of words I can use that start with a D, right? That is what you are, and that's the reason why you made such a big deal about this.
So what if both your mom and your wife came at the same time? Who sit at the front? Who sit at the back?
My wife should ask my mom, do
That
you
feels-
want
yeah.
to sit at the front or do you want to sit at the back where you'll be comfortable? She's older. It's just common sense respect, right?
Yeah.
If your parents didn't teach you this, then I've made the biggest mistake of my life.
Problem.
Period.
So what about
So
you?
by 10 minutes later,
The divorce is
done.
going to set in.
And nothing in this world will change my mind because I'm married to an idiot. That's what it is. And if you are married to an idiot,
Yay.
right? Eventually, you become an idiot. And you have idiotic kids.
Oh God.
And then idiotic kids, idiotic husband, idiotic wife mixed together. It's equals to a disaster for the world.
I am done with you. And you know the funny thing, right? When the lady was talking, the mother was actually looking at the son's face.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know if I'm able to say it again. I'll share it with both of you. But what do you think? Though?
I honestly think that, especially with
have
the
you been in
scenario,
such situation? Because I have.
No, I
So
haven't
I'll tell
been
you guys what
in
happened.
a literal that specific situation, but I just think that, and maybe it's the way I was. That's just disrespectful. At the end of the day, is to ask, where do you want to sit? And let's say it's a situation where we got there at the same time. There's no question. You know, I don't know how. For us, I will call her mommy, right? You know, where do you want to sit? This and the third. And hopefully we even have that relationship where it's just banter, if that makes sense. It's not a big deal. And if I get to the car and she's already in the front, there is no questions asked. I'm going to the back.
Right.
Like, I just feel like it's just disrespectful. I can never in my life go back and forth with the mother of my I can.
Oh,
my whole
Jesus
body will
Christ.
shake. I can't
At that moment, we are just done because
it takes
my
a lot
mother.
of liver to have that kind of back and forth. You don't fear God. You don't fear.
Like, I've seen this situation between my mother and my wife, right? They came in and my mother automatically went and sat at the back. And my wife said, "Ma, why don't you come and sit up in front because there's more leg room?" And she said, "I'm afraid of my son's driving, right? Whenever he drives, I have to close my eyes, right? So if I sit at the front, I don't think we are going to make it before I have a heart attack, right?" So she doesn't want to even sit at the front of my car. But if she wanted to sit there, matter of fact, I'm expecting you to offer it. Like, do you want to sit at the front? And number two, I will always let my mom sit at the back. The reason why I would let my mom sit at the back is when you get in a car accident, who usually dies? The people that sit at the front.
So your wife should die.
What kind of theory? What kind of?
I'm just telling you.
So your wife should die.
But especially with that story, she's.
Hey, no.
I'll make sure that she sit at the front.
No.
Me, if I don't like you, I'll let you sit at the front.
Hey.
I always
know what's
let you
actually
know.
weird?
Matter of fact, I will unadjust your
With
seatbelt.
the disagreement, I actually find that, well, maybe is in the African community, moms usually sit in the back anyway. They don't argue for the front. Like, I've never seen that except for like here. Like, that's never
So for me, like I said, I've been in that situation before. And up until I started watching TikTok and I realized this is such a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Me, like with Junior, ain't it like I know, like we usually used to go pick the mom up, right? And when we're going, I'm already at the front. But when the mom come, I don't even ask, "Do you want to sit?" I just go sit at the back. Like I never thought it was like such like a big deal.
Yeah.
I remember when the mother was in the picture, I never sat at the front before. I never sat at the front. I never did. Like anytime, like even if we both got there at the same time, I just let her sit next to the son.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
see
always
what the
like at
big
the
deal
back.
is.
I don't know. I don't know if it's such a big deal.
Was it American people making that argument?
No, it was. You know why
Yeah,
it was a big
American.
deal?
Maybe
Black
it's an American thing because I don't see how that's a big deal. What's the problem?
No, do you know why?
The
Do you know why it's a big deal?
Why is it such a big deal?
There is more deeper to it than that. There's more things going on.
What is it?
What's going
What is
on?
the deeper here? It's the same car, the
No.
same cushion.
They are fight. You see, the fight is not between even the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law, right? There is a fight of supremacy between the husband and the wife that is going on, and that is why that happened. It goes deeper than that. There's a supremacy thing going on, thinking that who is in charge and who is what, and at that moment, that female, whether she thought of it consciously or subconsciously, she was showing power, right? That, okay, I'm telling you to tell your mom to go sit at the back. So who tells who to do what?
Oh no.
Do you tell your boss to do something or your boss tell you to do something? Right? So there's a power dynamic going on here, and that's what it is. It wasn't really the mom thing. It could have been the auntie, it could have been anybody. But at that moment, right? The woman wanted to show that she have power, she have something over the man. That's why I was saying that if any man that have 2 cents, if she started at 10 o'clock, by 10:10, nothing under the sun should allow you to stay with. Like nothing, not kids, not nothing. Should let this relationship. Matter of fact, not only that, she showed you one thing that I always say: give me 5 minutes. Let me sit in between you and your spouse, and I can tell you if the relationship is gonna work, right?
So that means I should bring my spouse to you first.
If you bring your spouse to me and we sit here and have a conversation within 5 minutes,
You would tell me.
I can 80% predict the accuracy on when the relationship is gonna end.
Jesus is Lord.
Matter of fact, the reason B is the woman show contempt. And when you show contempt, within 6 months to a year, that relationship will
My
be
point
over.
is, like, it's the same car. What does that matter who sat in front of?
I think it's
And that's why I'm saying that there's something else going on.
It's a level of pride and then trying to exert that power.
But
Mm-hmm.
But you see, like when you go, like when you read through the comment section,
Mm-hmm.
like there's so many chances where a lot of women are saying, well, like me, if I'm your wife, you gotta let your mom sit. So it's like it's such a dominant thing. Where
I
it's
promise
like
you, and I'm not
these
saying this to be
women-
disrespectful, but I promise you, it's not Africans. It's not. It can't
It's
be
not.
Africans.
No. It doesn't even have to be African. It's more deeper than
the
that.
reason why I'm saying that is because this conversation is also coming from or stemming from how you were raised. Which one of us, especially as a woman child or a girl child, you're having an argument with any adult authority? What are
Right.
you talking about? Like, for me, it's not even about the seat. It's the fact that I am having an argument with the mother, my husband's
Yeah,
mother.
right.
You get liver.
You don't have liver. Go to the Igbo tribe. Go to that thing.
Can you imagine that day if they don't use you for oh God, no, I could never.
And yeah, I mean, and it was something that, like I said, I was just going through TikTok and I saw that. I'm like, oh, I'm going to bring this conversation because I just wanted to see how, like, both
Matter
of
of
you.
fact, that one will even steam into our topic today.
No. Our topic for today is you. I want to ask you, what has baby mamas? What have they done to you? Why is it that?
Take a deep breath and answer the
before you
question.
answer,
I need a drink. I need a drink.
You need a
I need a drink. Although it's not alcoholic, but I must drink.
but we have alcohol here.
No, if I drink alcohol, the things that will come out of my mouth, and I might not walk out of here.
It'll be worse than what you already been saying. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, baby mamas.
And
All right, so now
who
this is
even came up with that word, baby mama? Why? Like,
because guess what?
Baby.
The value I have for you is so low that I would not even give you the title of a wife.
That's
you are
not
just
right.
you are just a baby carrier. That's what baby mama is. Look, baby mama.
Listen,
What is baby mama?
No,
is equal to
that's
baby
wild.
carrier.
That is wild. Okay, okay. Let's just say, God forbid. Let's say your sister gets married, right? God forbid. God
Yeah,
forbid.
she's married.
right? And let's say
And
she has
something
kids,
happened.
and then they divorce.
doesn't
Okay.
mean
And
she
she's
become
a baby mother.
Okay, and then at that point, I will no longer call you. I will say that
But actually-
you have descended into the category
No.
of a baby carrier and a baby mama.
Hey.
actually, you know what?
No,
the
that's
women that
wild.
actually gets married and then divorced, I think somebody was kind of explaining it like they are not baby mamas.
Oh,
they are
really?
ex-wives.
They are
Because
ex-wives.
they've been married before.
Oh,
That's
so they
what
don't
I'm
get
saying.
that name.
Baby
Yeah,
mama
yeah,
is a baby carrier.
Stop. That is wild.
So why is it that men, and right now, right in this society that we are in right now, men don't want to marry like single mothers? And there was this guy on. I think he has his own podcast. I'm not going to mention his name. He has his own podcast. For the past week or two, he's been trending very well.
Okay.
I think they invited him to another podcast, and then he made a comment that we single mothers are for recreational use only.
Ah,
Damn,
jeez.
he just read my mind.
You agree?
Nah,
agree
let
with
me
that.
tell you
But
something.
then the same guy, we later find out that he married a white woman who already had 2 kids.
Okay, so
So
now
that
let me.
is it that
He's a hypocrite.
why he'll contradict the whole thing about.
And
It's like
very,
I feel like men right now in this society, you guys frown upon women with kids.
No.
yes.
They do. Now
Well,
a lot of men don't want to marry women with kids.
I
right?
wouldn't.
Yeah.
Under no
and you guys
circumstances.
frown upon like women who already have kids. You guys made it seem like a woman with a child with no man in the picture, or like who's not married, right? Is like of less value to you men.
Okay, so now let me do this. Let me put it this way. You can try all you want, right?
Hey.
Would it make any sense to date a woman that have had children with somebody else?
What if it's one?
I don't care if it's half a child. I don't even care if it's a quarter of a child. If you have a child, it's a child, and some children are quarters.
Some
did
children are what?
So some children are not fully children though.
Yeah, what?
Some children are two.
I'm not even going to ask you how. You
How
continue.
exactly?
Right. I'm not going to ask you how did you get here. Continue.
2/3 idiot and 1/3 a child.
Christy.
Look, see, this is the thing. If some people like it, but me personally, it's not gonna happen.
I think a lot of men don't want to be with.
And this is why it's not
woman
gonna
with a
happen.
child.
Why would I
Check.
plant a seed, water the seed, make sure that the seed grow well, and then just one day, that tree, when the seed grows into a tree, can be taken away from me just like that? Why would I do that? Why would I go in, take a woman with a child, and immediately that woman comes, more likely that I'm going to born with a child. I'm going to raise the child as my own. I'm going to do everything I can for the child. And just one day, the mother will go cuckoo. This thing is not working for me anymore.
But
I don't want this no
What
more.
if that doesn't happen? Why are we always thinking of the
And
worst?
it will
What if that
happen.
doesn't?
You know why it will happen?
It doesn't
How?
always happen. No, it doesn't.
Look, let me tell you. Go do the research and see the percentage of women that have single women that have children that go back to, let's say, their second marriage, and go see how many percentage of the second marriage that work. Go look it up. See, you have a phone, right? See how many.
If I look it up and y'all wrong,
Look
what
it
will
up.
you do?
Look it up how the percentage of second marriage that work. Matter of fact, if you look it up and I'm wrong, I will go and marry a single woman.
Wait,
Hey.
so what's the percentage that you're giving? What's your estimated percentage?
I'm
Bring
telling
it
you,
now.
between 50 to 60%
That fail?
that it will fail.
Okay.
Because it will fail. Because let me tell you something. In this world, once the first time is when it's difficult. Whenever you're doing something for the first time, it's difficult. The second time is not as difficult as the first.
So usually that's the reason
And
why
the
the
third-
second marriages fail is because you've already been there
Look it
before.
up.
So it's so easy for you to leave.
Look it up.
What is the percentage?
Look it up. I would say second marriages 50 to 60%. It will fail. Matter of fact, I could flip a coin.
I don't
It will
trust him. He
fail.
did the research before before
No,
he
I
said
didn't. I haven't even know. I haven't.
It is
percentage.
60%.
Let me tell you. Matter of fact, your third marriage, I'll give you 90% that you fail.
It said in the United States, it is 60% compared to around 50% for first marriages.
Yes,
So
you
second
know.
marriages is 60. First marriages
So
is
there's a higher
50.
chance of second marriage failing
Failing
Failing.
than the first
compared to
one.
the first one.
Because-
Because usually the first one,
Try.
you want to do everything to keep it.
Keep it.
And
Now
not-
you've already
not
been
even
through the
doing
bullshit
everything.
already, so you're not ready to entertain any bullshit again.
Right.
And it's not even the most devastating thing to happen to us as a human family is single mothers. It's the most devastating thing. There is a reason that for billions of years that humans have been around, there was always a man that was tagged along, and it was always family. If you want to see, look at the animals. How many animals do you see just running around? And whenever they say lone wolf, what happens to it? Whenever there's a lone animal, what happens to it?
I mean,
They become a
get
target
attacked,
to
yeah.
everybody. They become eaten alive. We are no different. There's a reason why our psyche wants to bond all the time. Our psyche wants family. Our psyche wants marriage, right? And then they came and yes, I'll use the Catwoman situation. I don't care what anybody says. I've already said it before, right? It's a virus. Just like we humans are virus to this earth, single mothers are virus to humanity.
Hey!
And they are virus to humanity. You know what it creates?
What did they create?
Single mothers. The thing of being a single mother create chaos. Because what happens is when you're a single mother, right? And especially when the father decides not to get involved, what do you have? What kind of child?
So why is it that the father don't want to get involved?
Wait. That's what I was about to say. You're saying that single mothers are
Yes.
whatever to the world, right? Or to the earth.
Yeah, virus.
But you're not
It's a
asking how
virus.
did they
Not the
become
single mother.
mothers
That's
to
the
begin
virus.
with?
The thing of being a single mother.
It's a virus.
It's
Not
a virus.
the woman herself.
I'm not talking about the
system.
woman myself. The thing of being a
Okay,
single mother is the most devastating thing that can happen to us. Our very survival is at risk.
But Mr. Tintin, but I won't say a lot. Some men get these women pregnant and they don't want to take responsibility of anything.
There's
right?
always that.
Even though I know it takes two people to tango, right? So if you and I, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the situation is, and I get pregnant and you said I don't want a child. You say you don't want a child.
Yes.
And I want to keep it.
Yes.
So now that makes me a single mom. Circumstances put me in that position.
Yes, circumstances put everybody in that is every position, and that's the reason why I'm saying.
So are we saying that
I'm not
it's their
saying
fault?
that is a man can decide not to be in your life, right? I'm not saying that is because of, let's say he doesn't want to be. It's because of you. You had no choice to be a single mother, right? But the essence of being a single mother
It's a problem.
is a problem. It's such a deep
I agree
core
with that.
problem.
Yeah.
I agree.
Especially in the black community.
It's
Yeah, I agree,
It's
yeah.
the most devastating thing to happen to human race.
Yeah.
Because guess what? You see, when a father is around, and matter of fact, it happened to me this weekend, right? My son, so it was cold in the living room. Unfortunately, we got a bigger house, which I hate.
Hey.
I mean, I don't need such a big house anyway.
Excuse us.
Two goddamn living rooms. What am I going to do with it? Right? Just get cold in the house, and when they get cold, I want to do some things. And when I do some
What do you
things,
wanna do?
when I do some things, the baby things start coming out. I don't want no more.
Oh, crackers.
Right? So, going back, I turned on the oven. Right? I turned on the oven. Oven get hot, 300 and some degrees. I keep telling my boy, stop going near the oven. It's gonna burn you. I told him once. Okay, he goes near it. Stop going to the oven. It's gonna burn you. He keeps doing it. Okay? And all this time, my wife is sitting there and I can see she looking at me at the corner of her eye. Right? And I'm like this, I'm not gonna tell you anymore. This is what's gonna happen. She said, but you're not gonna stop him? I'm like, no. I'm gonna let him go over there and I'm gonna let him get burned. When he touches it, I'm gonna let it burn him. And I bet you that me and him are never gonna have this conversation again. Because guess what? You will never go near the oven again.
Yeah.
Me as a father, I was completely okay with it. If I was looking forward to it. But
Not looking forward to it.
my wife, she cringed.
Really?
Yes. Look, she told me that every time I'm with the children, she's looking at me like literally she cringed. She's looking at me with the side of her eye. She can't even leave because she know what can go on.
Yeah.
That's because men like instill some level of discipline in the kids.
Not even that, right? Men, see, in order for a woman,
because I agree with that level of training too, because it's like if I told you once, I told you twice, I told you 3 times, that thing will burn you. I mean, so I will look at you.
no,
Like
you see, a lot of women
because of that.
A lot of women, right? And it's nature must love these children that they have. They must love them so much to the point that because guess what? So that's the reason why women don't throw their children out of the window, because them little things that come out, they are always right. They are always right when they're babies. When they cry, you attend to them. They become the number one of everything. And you need some level of deep love that is given to us by our Creator in order not to put that baby in the oven.
Oh, you hear that one?
In order not to, I didn't hear anything, but I can tell you
No,
what can
people have done
happen.
it.
No, somebody
The
did it.
washer,
Somebody did it? I don't know.
Yeah,
Put their baby in the
recently.
washer. Somebody even drowned their all 3 kids.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you know why?
Someone
Because
also put this
it-
in the oven.
Yeah.
That's what I was
Yes.
asking you if you heard
and
about
that's
that.
what I didn't hear about that, but I could see it happening. As I said, I could see it happening if you don't have that deepest love, and that's why my wife cringed. But when they get to a certain point, that's where the tumbling and the rough play start. As a father, I'm okay. I don't have that deep love as my wife do. As I said, I always say my love is conditional.
I know you said I'm not going to ask you. I'm not even going to go.
Right?
I already
I
said
remember
My
that.
love is
Yeah.
conditional, and most men are content with that. Of you getting a little rough play, you come on, go try, jump. Oh, you getting on the couch and you doing WWF. Matter of fact, hold on, let me go get the dummy. Hit them with the elbow. And my wife sit there and she shakes you. Don't you know he's gonna break his arm? I'm like, nobody ever broke their arm and died. Right? Last time, my son kind of cracked my daughter in the eye. She got a black eye, and she came cracking. And I told her, look, after a while, I said, look, wait till he's not looking, go behind him, and clock him too.
You're such a
And
guy.
yes, you did.
Oh gosh.
She clocked him, and he started crying, and I laughed. My wife can never stand there. She came, she saw the little black eye, she had a fit. And I told her, black eye don't kill nobody.
Hold on, let me ask
But from
you,
now
women,
on-
would you have the same reaction like with your kids? Is it gonna be like, are you tender to that point, or are you a disciplinarian?
I'm a tough love.
Me too, like I
very
wouldn't be same.
Because my mom gave us that tough love thing. Because my mom used to beat us.
Yes. And so,
Like like money will go missing. My mom will line all of us who stole the money, and nobody would say, even though like everybody would be quiet.
Yeah.
Man, she would whip everybody's ass.
Yeah.
From both boys to girls.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't have that. Oh my gosh, she's got no. I don't have that.
Like for me, I do agree that
I
that's
still
training.
have the whole feminine mother stuff there.
Right.
But I'm more of tough love.
Same, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, and this is the place where I say that single motherhood is the most worst thing ever happened to humanity.
Let me get Shola's side of this.
So
Single mothers.
Single mother,
Baby
terrible
mamas.
baby mamas.
So
Yeah, baby
I honestly
carriers.
speaking, I didn't know where Mr. Tintin was gonna go with it, but when he went, I can agree. I do believe that single mothers, in the sense of the system, not they themselves, because everybody is a single mother depending on your story, and I
Right.
can't judge you on that, right? But the system or the idea, or to be proud of it, to me, I feel like it's a problem because. I don't have the right percentage, but just based off of what we can see, I think a lot of the issue that we're having as a society, most of these young men and women
Are
are
raised
coming
by single
from
mothers.
Single mothers. And I think that the percentage of women that have the ability to bring in the home what the man can bring, that discipline, and also still be tender, is very few. But even with women that are like that, there's a difference when mom says it and there's a difference when dad says it, right? So for me, I do agree that that system is a problem. And to be very honest, we were talking about accountability before the camera started rolling, and this is the whole theme when it just comes to the whole having children and all that extra stuff. Because we can have the argument, okay, I had sex with him, we got pregnant, and what am I supposed to do?
You got
Not
pregnant
have
or
sex,
you got
or
pregnant?
cover it
Use
up,
protection,
or
right.
birth control.
Right.
Because for me, it's like we need to start getting to a point where you're not making an excuse for your terrible decisions. I'm not saying your child is a problem, but if you want to be honest with yourself, this man that you were laying with, you knew before you laid with him that you didn't want to bring a child into this world with him. But you having sex with him opens up that door.
Yeah.
Right? And then if you are someone that says, okay, I can't wait sex is something that's too sweet for my body and I gotta get mine. Okay, cool, do you, but cover it up. If you're the type of person that argues that, oh, sex feels different when you're wearing a condom, then go get birth control. But at the end of the day, if all your preventive measures you're not taking, then you have a child with somebody that don't want you and the baby, you're a problem. And that situation is a problem.
Yeah.
And no offense to single mothers, but a lot of people, not all, a lot of systems they come from that.
But the whole thing too
Now
about
it's
single
a
mothers.
lot.
A lot.
Especially here in the United States, like some of them are even living off, government assistance and all the Section 8 and,
I actually wanted to add, so I was watching this YouTube show. It's Pop the Balloon. And
I love that show.
it was a line of women, I think all of them between the ages of 30 and 40 something. And there was a 42-year-old man that had came out, and there was a woman that he was talking to, and he had asked her, do you have kids? She said yes. He was like, how many? She said 3. All the same fathers? She said no. Then he told her that after the first one, we can say, okay, everybody makes mistakes.
Right.
The second one, at that point, it's your fault.
Right.
You are a big part of the problem.
Yeah.
Your third one, you shouldn't even be on this show. And it's so disappointing because all the ladies, even the ones that didn't pop their balloons, ended up popping their balloons after he said that. And
they didn't like what
he said.
Yeah.
And then they moved on to another girl, and she was saying, well, you don't have the right to speak on a situation that you were not a part of. But I don't need to be a part of a situation to know that after the first one, it's a mistake. Anything after that, it's a choice. And the truth of the matter is, you made a very poor choice. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. But
let me say this, right? I'm gonna ask you a second thing to do something for me. Get on, if you can, get on your phone and search for women rights, or what is it called, feminist, whatever,
Feminism
movement. Search for when it really started take off. There's always been feminist movement, but there must be a year where this went through the roof.
oh, I did not know that.
Yes. And then after that, I'll
That's
show
so
you.
shocking.
I will tell you and show you exactly what is going on. It's a design by cat women that are doing that. It's a design.
Who are the cat women?
They are the women that can keep men, and then they play with cats all the time.
Okay, so it says that the feminist movement is generally considered to have begun in 1848.
Okay.
It's been a long time.
A long
1848. And then when did they really?
So there's a lady named Elizabeth Cady something, and that's 1902. She drafted a declaration outlining the new movement.
Let's go to the 50s.
The 50s?
50s and the 70s. Let's look at
So,
50s. What happened in the 50s?
The second wave of the feminist movement took place in the 1960s and the 1970s.
Okay.
And focused on issues of equality and discrimination.
Okay. Now, 1960s and 1970s, right? Now, do this research and see at what year did single women went through the roof.
The peak.
Because during that era, there wasn't much single women.
No, that's when it started.
That's good.
I'm about to, it will blow your mind.
That's crazy.
When I'm about to, it will blow your mind, and I'll show you what they are doing to women, and they are destroying women. These feminist movement, they are the cause of what is going on.
That is so crazy.
They are the virus to humanity.
Be careful.
Tell me,
Be
I'm
careful.
not going to be
Be
careful.
careful.
They are the ultimate
So
virus.
it says the number of U.S. children living in single parent families started 1970s to 2023.
Thank you.
And
So
the
from 1970 to
yes, but you remember when I had read before, it said that the new movement,
new movement.
of the second wave of the feminist movement started between the 1960s into the 1970s. So once that second wave happened, that's when the
when we started
rise
having
of single.
single
That is
women.
crazy.
Now, check birth control. When the birth control started coming up. Not the natural birth control, but pills and stuff like that.
When did
Mr.
birth
Tintin.
control? When was it created? Or?
When yes, and became very apparent that women really started using it.
But
And I'll tell you, it was in the 70s.
But we can also, I know she's checking, but we can also say that the whole single mothers thingy is as a result of feminism alone.
It is.
It's of course
How?
not.
Now let me tell
Not
you this.
alone.
When
Let me tell
fathers
you.
don't want to take responsibility,
No,
they are not there.
no,
Doesn't it
no.
make the woman?
Do you know the single? Do you know?
Because if you say no,
I said
then if you say no, then it's like men are not going to be accountable for any
Let
of
me show you.
this.
Let me show you where I'll bring men in. But now we are talking about single women. But I'm about to show you how
But
it
that's what I'm
coordinates.
saying.
Right?
Okay.
How come that we didn't
Let
have
me just
that
give you the
problem?
answer. So the peak or whatever was 1960.
Thank you. 1960 birth control. Second movement of feminist
Feminism.
It says the
wave.
birth control pill first came
And
out
then
in
guess what?
1957.
The third single parenthood. You see where I'm going with? A lot of people don't do a lot of research, but when you see the problem, that's when the virus started, right? And then check when women this really went into the workforce. Take away from World War II, right? When World War II came,
That is
when
when
did the
this-
women really move into the force? It was between 1960 and 1970.
So that's when things begin to change.
That was the genesis of the virus. That was when the virus was created. And then guess what? Because of these movement, we could do all bad all by ourselves, right? They promoted so much through Hollywood, through so many things of single women. I could do independent women.
You
I
didn't
could
do this
bad-
research before?
I didn't do research.
This
I
is
could do-
scary.
What year
I
was
could
that?
do-
1960.
I'm telling you, look, I could do bad all by myself. It all started
Jesus.
between the 50s and the 60s and 70s, right? I could do all by myself. Women independent, Miss Independence, They
Boss
started
chicks.
boss chick. They started putting them in the movies, right? And guess what? Mass media. Check when the mass media really came out. Mass media took off in the 70s. That's when everybody could buy TV. In the 1940s, everybody goes somewhere else and everybody watch it on big screens. And all of a sudden, they put TVs in everybody's house. You no longer had to go somewhere to get that, right? And they bring all these women movements, and guess who sits home all the time watching TV? And most of the time, it's not men, except for nowadays, it's women. And guess what? The biggest way, if I wanted to destroy a group, the first thing I would do is to take control of the mass media. Especially social media, mass media. And then I would get the mass media to drive and drive and drive
This
and
is good,
drive
yeah.
my goal. And if I wanted to destroy women, all I'm going to do is drive my goal. Why are you sitting home taking care of the children when you can be at the workplace and work 10 to 12 hours and then just come home tired, beat up, don't know where your kids are eating, right? Look at when microwave dinner started. It all started in the 60s and the 70s with women, because it all came
That's
in.
so crazy.
And then driven that with mass media, driven that with Hollywood, and the money comes behind. Guess what? Look when sexual revolution started. We want to be free sexually. Started in the 60s. And then that tag into birth control.
Yeah.
So women
That
are
is so
not,
crazy.
they are not now they don't even respect their
That
bodies.
is so crazy.
Because
crazy.
guess what? They can take this birth control. Now they can sleep with so many men, and their husbands will never know.
As for that,
And now,
that part-
when you do that, men, do you know how men show their love? Men show their love by duty. We don't have that emotional love. It's our duty. If I get up
How
every
many of you are
day-
doing duty though?
No, because this is the thing. As women change, that's why I said, if I want to change something, and if I want to, the target, right, is not women. The target is to destroy the masculinity.
Yeah,
I
to
believe that
destroy men.
100%. That's so
To
good.
destroy
Yeah.
men.
Yes.
And how
that is so
how do I
good.
destroy a man that is so strong
That is so good.
in who they are? Is to destroy the things that could be his weakness, right? You are as strong as your weakness, right? You are just as intelligent as the person that advised you, right? So if I want to break your house down, if you're a man, guess who I'm coming for? I will come for your wife.
Yeah.
And when I come for your wife, right, that give me direct access to your children.
Yeah, but who gave those women the power? It's men.
Think about it. Think about it. Men.
Right? It's men.
But that's the thing.
Because back in the days,
deep,
women
yeah.
didn't have power.
It's not-
The whole feminist movement, the mass media were not owned by women, it was owned by men.
Man.
All of that were all approved.
No, and then let's
by
think
men.
about this. And
So
then
men helped women to destroy.
But then I think the question is, what group of men?
no,
And the reason why I'm saying that is because this is just my theory. So please don't shoot me at
gonna shoot you?
Illuminati and all them people. But you know how I believe strongly, not just in America, but I feel like in every country you have the top of the top, right? You have the people that are in control of what is happening in the world and in the media. They have their agenda. And I feel like most of those men that are sitting there, of course, are men, but you have to think like the men that are sitting there, right? And let's hypothetically say they're white men, right?
But they are still men.
But the thing is that
Let me-
think about
let
it.
me-
The conversation we are
Think about
having
it.
is not black, white,
No.
But wait,
green.
think
No,
about
let
it.
me-
When you have an agenda, let's say, for example, even with slavery, for example, you have an agenda to destroy a community. So at that point, it doesn't matter whether it's the way I'm trying to put it is like when you have an agenda, all the other things that make sense don't matter to you. You have your agenda and that's your target. So my thing is that let's just say, hypothetically speaking, you want to, okay, let's just say with homosexuality, right? Let's say the agenda now in this era is to stop, reproducing, right? So that AI can now take control. What do? You start to push homosexuality, right? At that point, as a man, it may bruise your ego or whatever the case may be, but at the end of the day, the agenda is to slow down reproduction. So you're gonna do what you gotta do and come for the people that you gotta come for to make that agenda come to pass. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
There is
But
a
at the end of the
point.
day, the people that are behind each other is the men.
Let me put
That
this
is what
way.
I am saying.
Let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. Let me. This will
It's a
blow.
man's world.
No,
and
this
I
will-
agree.
And some of them
Yes.
help the minority
But then I think
to
the
destroy
question,
them.
right? But then the question would be, with those men, what was the agenda?
Now,
What
let
is
me-
the agenda?
And that is where we are now, 2024.
Right.
Let's go back to the
Fucked up
beginning.
generation.
But the
No,
thing is
let's go
that
back to the beginning. The
Uh-huh.
first beginning, right? You said it was man. Okay. I always say the Bible.
But
is
it's true.
The Bible is
It's
the
a man's
Genesis. It's not even that. It go deeper than that. It go way deeper than that, right? And I'll show you parallel of what it is. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. When God created man, right? And then later on, the Bible says God created a woman, right? A man was strong in himself, right? A representative of God, right? Why didn't the serpent go to the man directly and tell him to go eat the apple?
It don't matter, but that.
No, it's the man, but let me get
point,
to
but
how
the
you
serpent
destroy.
is a man.
No, let me. but the thing is,
It's a man.
So the genesis of this story is that men are the problem.
That's what I'm saying.
Men are the beginning of the
A man
problem.
came to connive a woman to destroy another
Right.
man.
And you guys will be saying
but how
that
do you know? How
it's
can
the
a
man.
serpent? How can a serpent be a man?
But it
It's a man.
Lucifer was the one who did
It's a
that.
male figure.
But who said Lucifer is a man?
It
But
was-
that's what we know.
it
Oh,
was
who
Lucifer
said-
is a
who
male
said-
figure.
no.
But that is what we
Now you
know.
know.
Nobody
Are
said
you
Lucifer is the
gender?
male
Who
figure.
says that Lucifer was a
We're
male?
not even-
Don't
we-
argue
Lucifer is
the
a
gender.
female.
No,
Oh, Lucifer is a female.
Lucifer is God a male or a female?
I don't know.
And
It
that's
was-
how we said we don't
But
know.
they said let's create men by in our own image,
Eh.
and the first person that God created was a man.
Then
So
let's say
isn't that God's image?
let's create man as our image,
Eh,
right?
and then man
We're going
came.
off
In
topic,
the Bible,
but I wanna.
as him. Him.
Yeah.
So therefore,
No,
let
no,
me
no.
answer the question first. Say Lucifer was a male. or
And
a
you know
female.
what? This is the problem.
Wait.
Whenever when it comes,
I get-
it's blame shifting, all right?
Listen,
Or
I
it's
get-
the man, is the man, is the man, is the
No,
man,
no,
is
no,
the
no,
man.
no,
and
no,
then
no,
they-
no,
To
no,
be
no.
fair,
Listen, I
it
get
is.
where you are coming from. The whole mass media, right? Feminism. Everything that you were saying with the research that she did, it's right on point. Like it's
So
I agree with you.
so let me tell
but
you.
what I'm saying is that all
So
those
a man
things
is
would
a
never
better-
would have happened
If not
if
for men.
men were not behind all of this.
The
You have
orchestrators
to
of
give
it.
those women power in order for them to do what they're doing. With homosexuality and all LGBTQ, IJQ, SW, YZQ, all of that.
No,
Let's
100%.
fine. You can
I think,
even
wait,
say
you get her
you can
point,
even
though.
say
That's a very
Right,
good
that's
point.
fine.
But you
Okay,
get
so
my-
let
no,
me
no,
say I
that's-
get your point,
Is it-
right?
it's like-
But you get
I get
it.
your point, but it will be this.
Because the word I'm coming because the word that you're saying is created by men. The infrastructure, the data, the technology, everything that you like we women.
Fine, we create-
hold on. We are enjoying right now.
Right.
Is created by men. That
Yes.
is the
100%.
reason why when the feminists come to argue that let's be equal, y'all men be like, we can be equal because guess what? If let's and I think
It's
I
no
saw-
more. It's not like that.
Hold on. But I'm saying, like, we can be equal because it's so many. Because
Yes,
the world
equality
that
don't
we live
exist.
in, the world that we live in, is created by men. The freedom that we women we have is created by men.
Do you know
Because
why that
guess what?
happens?
When it got to a time when men were raping women, blah 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 blah, who were the people that stopped it? It has to be the men that were in power to say that because it took another man to tell another nigga stop the bullshit that you're doing.
Right.
It wasn't women, it was men. So that is the reason why when feminists wants to argue, men was like, no, we can be equal because a lot of the things that you are enjoying is created by us.
Yeah.
Assuming that all men are wiped off here in America. And Chinese people bring their
Yes, we would.
their people. How are we women going
that's
to?
That
It
is
will never
so.
work.
It's like this. You cannot also say. That's what I'm saying.
I'm
that
not saying
there's
it's
a
your fault.
mass.
I'm
They
not saying
say
it's men's fault.
it's not.
Just
The
a
world is
little
created
bit.
by man, man.
Just a
If
little.
we the bricklayers. If men didn't lay brick anymore houses, I don't see how many women are going to be bricklayers, right?
Oh, God,
I don't
it will
see.
shock
I don't
you. We
see
can
how
do
many
it.
women.
We can do it.
You will talk like that. Let me take you. Let me take you to the sewage in DC.
We'll give
and
that-
you see how many times
We'll give
you,
that to the Chinese people.
When you see-
you go and find a Chinese
when you
wall.
see a rat the size of a dog, the snake that came back here, you see how you run.
No,
But now you're going to see a snake 3 times that big.
no,
in the
I don't want to
sewage.
see it.
Jeez.
Even if it's this big, I don't want to see it.
So the thing is this, right? When men are gone, civilization will break down,
Yes.
right? So now let's go back to the woman thing, the single mother thing, because it's bigger than what we are seeing. It's an agenda that has started from the beginning,
Who is behind the agenda?
and that's the thing. Nobody knows, right? And then let's say this.
Nobody
Let's say this.
knows.
Let's say this.
I feel like
what
I
if
have-
the man that is in charge, right? The men that really push power for the women. There's so many men that are in the closet that were forced to be married, right? And then
But
although
biologically, they are men.
they are men, of course, it's a men
but
run
what's
it, right? So if let's say I'm in the closet, right, and from the shame of it, right, I marry her, but I don't want her. I want another man, and that's why there was. Imagine in the 80s and the 90s. Look how much homosexuality and especially the AIDS epidemic, what happened, right? And it's going to be very uncomfortable talking about it. Some people are going to come for my head, but my head is already cut off,
Yeah.
so
Me.
you have nothing else to
Nobody
cut
will
off,
come for your head.
right? But look what drive the AIDS epidemic. It wasn't heterosexual. We all know.
Yeah.
It was men that were in the closet who go to gay clubs, have sex in there, then they come home and have sex with their wives, and now the wife have it, right? The wife get pregnant and will have a child, and now we got children with HIV, right? These are the same men that are sitting up there making decisions, right? So
So you and I are speaking the same language.
I was
I'm
like,
not
so the
saying that
moral
it's
of the
not,
story
but there
is
is an-
men. The moral
Yes.
of the story is men.
Whether they're in the closet, they're under the sea,
exactly,
or under the table, biologically.
Right.
So let's go back to this single mother thing, right? Let's go back to this single mother thing and why single mothers is a beginning of breaking down all the civilization. As
For
we
me,
know
I
it.
just felt like whoever that started that agenda. I don't know if
It's
the
not
person
one person.
I know, like
It's not
whether
one
it's a group
person,
of,
yeah.
you know, Trump will say group of Morpheus people.
Yeah.
Regardless of, you know, like whom they are, right? I don't know whether they thought like the year 2024 we're gonna have such a fucked up generation.
No,
No,
we have-
no. What I think
No.
Wait,
You haven't seen.
What
I
think
can
it
tell
is-
you.
I
I
know
can
the
tell you
worst is yet
exactly
to
what
come.
is about to happen.
I know
What
the
I think
the
it
West is
is,
yet to
I
come.
think the agenda has always been to break down the system, which is starts with the head of the household, which is the man. And the reason why I say that is because this whole feminist thing, what did it produce? It started to switch.
Produce single woman, single house.
No, it produced single women, but then it
And now they
also
crying.
I wouldn't even say backfired. I think the actual target was to take that masculinity out of the man.
system. And
So
then when
that's what
you
I'm saying.
take
I feel like the
masculinity
agenda-
out of the system, right? What happens?
You have a
Now you
fuck-
can control.
Yes.
you
Because
have
the
a
thing
fucked
is
up-
this.
You have a fucked up generation right now.
100% though,
Because
yes.
nowadays, a lot of men have more estrogen than testosterone. Right? And they're competing with women. Right? And then now, this is what is going to now happening. Now you're going to have dudes that look way better than women. And some of them is
Oh,
happening.
some of them are already competing.
And then guess what? And guess what?
And saying that they look way better than us.
And then
Oh.
with the technology and the things that are coming along, they could do reproduction. Let me tell you,
Go
in 10
crazy
years
with
time,
it. Yeah.
Men will not even need women to produce kids for them
100%.
anymore.
10 years time,
And when
those
that happens,
men-
right? Then a lot of the men are going to disregard. Like, I don't need a woman.
Yes.
If I have like a technology,
But it's already happening, which is the funny
and not only
thing.
that, the men, because they are not getting that testosterone. How do you build testosterone? Right? Testosterone is built through. Remember, I said men rough play with their children, especially their young boys, and that is where. And when you rough play with your boys, and there's a tugging, there's a pushing, there's a fighting, there's I'm hitting you, I'm jumping, I'm hitting you on the ground. That is when kids. That's when the testosterone will start kicking in. But when you suppress that, estrogen will take over, because estrogen is very, very powerful. When it comes to estrogen and testosterone, when we're talking about power, estrogen is more powerful and more dominant, can be more dominant than testosterone.
Yeah.
Testosterone needs to be built. And it start being built when the child
That's
is young,
good.
right? Of course, yeah, they have testicles, they produce testosterone, but the environment, the shaking, the baking, the man, right? And then
when
all of a
you're in
sudden,
the
what
single
happens?
mother home
What
and all the
happens?
tender and it's okay
And then what happens when the father too is not there?
That's what I'm
now,
saying,
the
because
rough and the tumbling
it's not
that's supposed to
there.
stimulate that testosterone is not there. And then guess what? You know what then also build testosterone? Hierarchy. Right? All of a sudden, the child, and they'll say, they've like Pinocchio, right? Where people that have read the Pinocchio story, right? What happened to the father? Right? The father get locked up under the sea, and Pinocchio have to go and rescue the father. It's the rescuing of the father, right? And in order for the child, the son, to think that he needs to rescue his father, he have to be more rough. He have to be played. He have to go through tough times, right? Although, so the father is watching him, and the father is also stimulating that, right? And what happened when the child gets to 12 and 13? That's when their athletics start coming. If you go to a single mother house, right? Look at the boys between the ages of 12, 13, 14, 15. They are more there's a chances that, I don't know the statistics, but if you check it, I bet you that I'm right, that they are more likely not to participate in physical sports
100%.
than those with two-parent household. Because guess what? That stimulation that was there at the young age that needed to be there is no longer there. Right? So when they do 13 and 14, they haven't built it to that level whereby they want to go out and now compete The spirit of competition is so strong. That's why I don't like equal rights and I don't like affirmative action. I don't like that, because what happens is you need that competition, right? And with that competition, men build testosterone. I want the bigger, like, look at Elon Musk, right? Guess what Elon wants to do? He wants to build bigger rockets than anybody else. And Jeff Bezos wants to build bigger rockets. And this person wants to build bigger rockets.
Competing with each other.
And competition builds testosterone.
Yeah.
Right? Lack of competition, equal rights, kill testosterone, kill creativity, kill that action, kill eat or be eaten. That thing is very important to us. And guess what? During the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, and when men are going to World War I, World War II, that was what it was, right? And then men come home from World War II, and, you know, in the 50s, and all of a sudden, you have all these movement of no war, anti-war, and this, and that, and this, and this, equal right this, equal right that, equal right that. And all of a sudden, that testosterone, that things are being killed. It's being killed. It's being killed. Our young boys are turning, they become more feminine than even our young girls.
So,
right?
Yeah.
Young girls are becoming, and then guess what is happening? Now, the young girls that wasn't really having that tussle with dad, right? It's all of a sudden want a piece of that testosterone, right? Because that's something that they don't experience naturally. And guess what? It's like when you're trying something, if you ever try drugs, right? The first time, the second, when you try the first time, you get the high. Then all of a sudden, you get the high. Now you want it, and you want more, and you want more, and you want more. When the young girls start getting the taste of power, as you were saying, the taste of power, because the young boys no longer is competing at that level. So now they are giving the girls the chances to taste the power, to taste what strength is. Now, if you go to the gym, there's more females in there than males. But look it up in the 50s and the 40s. You never catch a female in the gym. It was men that were building these things. But now the rule has reversed. It looks like that. That's what is happening. The rule is reversing, and now the women are tasting power.
Women are going into a gym because we gain weight quick and we want to lose.
And not only that,
I said that we got fat.
Not only that,
and you want to leave us because we gain
and not
weight.
only that, how do you? And when you build muscles, how do you build muscles? Muscles are built through testosterone. If you have too much estrogens, that's why women cannot build as much bigger muscles like men. Unless they start taking testosterone shots.
Yeah, but I don't think those women at the gym, they want to build their testosterone, right?
And not
they
build strength.
but because they're trying to lose weight. And
Not
if you
even the
lose weight,
weights.
you have to lift the weight to lose weight.
And
That's why most women are in
when you
gym.
lift weights, guess what you get?
What?
You get muscles.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? And when you get
And
muscles,
because you are able to burn fat quicker.
Yeah.
And then when you get muscles, what comes with muscles? Testosterone.
Yeah,
Testosterone
but
is a
for
building
us,
block.
we're not doing that to gain testosterone.
No, not that.
I just wanna look good,
But
that's
you are
it.
tasting. It's not whether you are building the muscles or not. That's even irrelevant. We are talking about the taste of power.
But
And
I don't
guess
feel
what?
like, well, I can, no,
Power-
I can say because I work out consistently, and I don't feel like I've ever had a moment where I felt like, if anything, I have to pray before I get out of the bed to get to the gym.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not thinking power.
And the thing is, no, you're not thinking it by
It'd be
subconsciously,
hard.
right? If you take a fat chick, a whale, a blue whale,
oh
right?
gosh.
And then you take a woman that is really, really fit, like the lady that played tennis, Serena Williams.
Serena.
Have you seen her back muscles?
Yes.
Right? Beautiful. Right? How does she get? The reason why she's such a good tennis player is because of the structure of the
My
back
point,
muscle.
because she has to do in order to gain endurance to win.
So and then guess what? When you win, do you know what chemicals also goes up?
Why? Your testosterone? Is that what you're trying to say?
Also goes up when you win.
But is that a bad thing? I feel it sounds like you're saying
No.
like it's a bad thing.
It's not. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm
Okay.
saying that the level when men or little boys, because of those tussle and things, and their testosterone fall, and all of a sudden they don't want to compete, and then the women, the girls, that fall. Ever since we know, we kept them down. So they don't build testosterone. Most girls were wearing dresses and they were home with their mothers and learning how to cook.
True.
They didn't go out and play basketball. They didn't go out to play softball.
That's why back in the days there was no McDonald's.
Right? And not even that. It's just,
I'm just saying.
it wasn't, but there's always something that was bad.
If assuming that back where like women wear skirts and stay home, is that same situation that you're gonna have a whole lot of fat women walking around.
Oh,
Yeah,
in
of course.
And
America.
there's already a lot of discrimination against black
Bodies,
women.
yeah.
They're talking about black women and are not taking care of themselves.
Yeah.
Black women are gaining weight, they're not losing weight.
That is
Yeah.
the weight thing. The weight thing is even relevant to the topic. The topic was the experience of what is going on right now, leading to single motherhood that is being blown out of proportion. Right, is because of, as I'm saying, from the genesis of how we get to where we are now, was now the thing that was natural was the boys going out to play baseball, going out to, even like when we're in Ghana, right? And that girls could have went out and played soccer. Nobody's gonna stop you. But guess what? A lot of the little young, and I see my daughter, a lot of them, they gather little things and they wanted to, what is it called? Toy play, like they cooking, and what? And the little boys are rowdy, running around, beating each other up, doing this. But now it's no longer like that, right? But now the young girls are doing that, and the young boys are thumbs.
They're playing video games.
They play video games.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And the more video games they play, the more they are not stimulating
Yeah.
that testosterone. And not only that, they're playing a lot of video games. Now the father is no longer there to challenge them, right? And now they don't have that drive to save the dying father, right? Like Pinocchio, to save the dying father. They don't have that drive to do that. And now they don't have that drive to do that. Guess what? Estrogen overtake testosterone. And we are having bitch males now.
Oh boy. Let me get to Shola. Yeah. Bitch males. Hey boy. This man is gonna get us beating.
What?
So Shola,
Yeah.
let me divert a little bit here. What kind of right do men have here in the United States? Let's stick to the United States. What kind of rights and privileges that men have in the United States that women don't have right now?
We actually have.
Is there a particular right
I don't think
or
there's
privilege?
I don't
Women
think
have
so.
more rights
No,
and privileges.
No,
than men now.
That's what I'm asking. I'm saying for men, what kind of rights and privilege do men have right now that we women we don't have?
I think on paper, I think if we're just talking about on paper the rights, it looks the same in a sense of.
So what are we fighting for then?
So that's what I was about to say. I think on paper there's equality, but when you are actually, for example, going into the workforce, into the office, into the businesses, you will see there's still discrimination. Okay. It's almost like, for example, the other day I was listening to a podcast and the owner of the podcast was interviewing an ex gang member, and he was just talking about his experience in prison. And in 2024 you still have a system where racism, discrimination is very loud in a sense where you come in there, you a black male, we don't care what gang you coming from, you go to your blacks, you go to your whites, you go to your Hispanics. So I think that even with like I said, with the law on paper, racism has been dead and gone. But when you're going into these facilities or into these businesses and into these relationships or whatever the case may be, that's when everything becomes unique or separated or different. So that's how I see it.
But for me, I'm looking more from a system perspective, right? Like whatever privilege that a man has. Okay, workforce. Not every company is discriminatory towards women when it comes to salary. As a matter of fact, let's bring it into the IT. If you smart, you smart.
Yeah.
And nobody's gonna give you 90K and give another
But
man 120.
how likely is that for someone?
So not every organization.
Right. So I feel like when you're talking about what are we fighting for, I think the fight for some people continues to be that like underlying, you know how they say like their slavery still exists, but like under the rocks or whatever. So that underlying like discrimination where it's like, okay, yes, you guys are saying in this company that I have the same job position as Anthony, you know, but I had a conversation with Anthony. We're doing the same job. I'm probably even doing more work than him, but he's getting paid $200K and you guys are only giving me $115. You get what I'm trying to say?
But do you also know that
do
you also know that in some cases also when you go for an interview, what you ask for is what they give to you.
What you get, that's true too. 100%.
Do you know
So
why
maybe
males are making?
Me and Mr. Tintin, we both doing IT, same security analyst, right? We both working for the same company.
Yeah.
I came in and I said I want 120. Mr. Tintin came in and asked for 150. Are we going to say that because Mr. Tintin cement, so they give him the one? That is what I requested.
Makes sense.
Right? And I was giving that.
Fair
we
enough.
also have to look at that because some and not just women, some go into workforces and they don't request the money that they deserve.
They don't.
For whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know
that's
why?
true.
I'm asking this because it's, and I know especially from the feminism side, they want that, you know, we want equality. We want that, right? And I mean, for me, I'm trying to understand like what kind of privilege, what kind of rights that a man can have walking on the street, a man can have living freely here in America that we women,
that's actually
we
a
don't
very
have,
good question,
right?
to be honest.
So because I watched a certain podcast and the men asked the females and all of them were quiet.
Yeah.
Because none of them were able to say,
This is what I get that men don't
what I
get.
get that the men don't like.
That's a
this is
good
what the
point.
man is getting that
I
me
don't
as
get.
a woman, I'm not getting.
100%.
So then the men went ahead and said, oh, you guys are quiet. And they were all quiet because they couldn't pinpoint one particular right or
That's so good,
privilege
yeah.
that the men has that they don't have. So then the men asked them, that, okay, so then you guys are feminists. What are you fighting for? And one of them said, well, we both have the same privilege and right, but except that I don't want you men to tell me what I can do with my body.
Oh, God.
You see the foolishness?
But they don't though.
I don't want you.
But
men
the thing is, if you really
do my body,
this is the thing.
If I get pregnant, I should decide.
When people say that, right? Me personally, with women, I genuinely hate that because a man, a woman, a fish, if he can talk, can give their opinion. I can tell you we slept together. You're pregnant and I don't want you to keep it. But guess how many women still go and have their baby?
Yeah.
So he's not telling you what to do. He's giving his opinion as he should because he made that baby with you.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, when people come up with arguments with certain things, oh, you shouldn't. I saw one girl the other day. She was saying something that if she decides to walk out on the streets with a bra and underwear, that gives nobody the right to come for her or abuse her. Or
See,
and I'm like,
that is the issue.
You keep trying to say, I'm like, what are you talking about?
You see, that whole privilege and right thing has really gotten into a lot of females' head. If you think you can wear bikini, not even bikini, a bra and a pant,
just come outside
and walk around, and you don't understand why, especially in our community, black community, why a lot of these men are calling females hoes, bitches.
That doesn't give you the right.
You know,
at this
really
point-
looking down on women.
At this point, I'm looking at the camera.
Because for some reason, right, we are
should-
accountable
100%.
for some of the things. Because if you give your coochie for free, you have men who over there who don't
And
give
it's
a
so
shit,
sad
who don't
because
respect it
this is
anymore.
why I
Because at the end of the day, I can get it for free.
100%.
Do you know-
And people, I'm so sorry. Women, honestly speaking, this is from the heart. Very hypocritical and very I just feel like certain things, and it just goes back to your question, what are we fighting for? The reality is you're not fighting for anything. You're
Look,
not fighting for
look.
anything. It's honestly speaking, I feel like it's a fight that you're having with yourself in your own head.
No,
Because
The
when
thing
you
is-
when
the
you're
thing
hold on,
is,
when
a
you're
lot of
asked
women-
simple questions, nobody can answer. How come they couldn't answer?
They couldn't answer.
What are you fighting for?
Yeah,
Look.
they're fighting for the fact that it's their body.
a lot of women, and especially single mothers, are delusional.
Yeah,
And let me tell you what. Let me tell you what.
Especially single mothers.
Baby mama was
Especially single mothers are delusional, and they create a terrible world.
Check.
Now, let me tell you this. With all the stuff that I'm saying, right, you would have been in both sides of the coin. And so that's what I'm telling you. I know what I'm talking about. And I'm going to narrate it exactly. And I'm telling you, it's 80 to 90% of men, if they really wanted to talk, would agree with my story. Okay. So until I was about, let's say 14, or maybe a little less, my parents were together. Was it 14? It was a little less. My parents were together, right? Then my mom got delusional. And she decided that she think that she could do everything by herself. And your father did this and your father did that. Right? Eventually, it ended in a divorce. And guess what? At that point, my mother was making way more money than my father. Right? So it ended up in divorce. Okay.
Back in Ghana or here?
No, right here.
Okay.
Right here. Down in Falls Church.
Okay.
At that time, she was in the delusional boat, thinking that she could do it all by herself, making all this money, right? So my father ended up leaving. And initially, fine, freedom, yay. Then reality brought its receipts. When reality brought its receipts, life flipped upside down. All of a sudden, luckily for me, God created me a little different, right? Because I always say that he clothed me with some wisdom that maybe a child my age shouldn't have had. And when my father left, now, when reality brought the receipts, all of a sudden it became overwhelmed.
What was the reality?
The reality is, at first, you think you are doing it all right. You think you can do all by yourself. You have the money, you have this, you have that, you're making the money. Then the reality is, all of a sudden, my little sister have to get to school, but now you have to go to school at 6. But now you got to be at work at 5. At first, you have to be at work at 5. You don't have to worry about it
Because the dad
because
was
old
doing it.
man
Yeah.
will stay and make sure that the kid get to school at 6. So now he can't get the job that will make him that money because he have to
Because
go
he had
in
to
late.
make some sacrifice.
The sacrifice was made, but the sacrifice wasn't respected. They weren't seeing the sacrifice that it was respected. The sacrifice became norm because she wasn't seeing it. And all of a sudden, when he packed himself and left, and trust me, when he left, and my dad, look, I'm telling you, anybody that know my dad is very handsome. Look at this. Look at that. Right?
Boy.
Yeah, sexy man. And guess what?
You look like a dad?
It's a mirror.
Interesting.
It's a mirror.
So I'm looking like another stubborn person also.
Oh, well, he's stubborn in different ways. Right? So, dad left. Right? Now,
I'm so sorry. Dad left by choice or dad left because mommy said divorce?
because of the behavior of mommy,
Daddy left. Okay.
any man, if he didn't leave, I at this point, I would have just laughed at him.
Okay.
Because I was like, why are you still there?
Is he still alive?
Even when I was, he's still alive.
And your mom?
He's still alive.
Okay.
And whether they hear this
Were they able to squash?
no. Well,
Up till
now they have squashed because reality brought his receipts. And reality still bringing the receipts. And she's still paying for it. And it's terrible.
Wow.
I'm telling you,
But your
Warren,
dad married another woman.
my dad married a goddamn doctor.
Okay.
And lived this
And that was a black American woman, right?
no.
Oh, that's different.
This wasn't a Ghanaian woman.
Okay.
That also checked out earlier and saw that she couldn't do all bad all by herself. And she really wanted somebody, so she snapped that. Right? And they live in this life. Now, mom is not jealous.
She's jealous.
She's jealous. She won't tell me she's jealous, but I can tell. I know when somebody's jealous.
She want your dad back.
Because guess
I didn't
what?
know old now.
No, not now. I'm talking about then.
Back then,
But
okay.
because guess what? Do you know what jealousy create? Envy.
Yes.
And then you know
envy is
what envy
witchcraft.
creates? Hatred.
That is witchcraft.
And then you know what hatred create? If you are not careful, the hatred is not, especially from the mother, is now passed to the child. And that's why a lot of single mothers that raise children and the children hate their fathers. It's a poison.
You're screaming.
And that is why I'm saying that
This one is
single
shouting. Da.
motherhood,
Oof.
I know what I'm talking about. It's a virus. It's the worst thing that can happen
How
to
do
us.
we stop
No,
this?
that's not. Yeah.
The worst thing that we need to stop that is to get women need to have a reality check.
What is that?
The reality check is you need to be what women need to be. And be
But-
and,
Wait,
and-
Now,
but then
only
the-
take
but-
if men also want have
Go
And-
back
and let me
to
tell
where
you
they
this.
used to
It goes
be.
both ways.
Yeah.
yes. And let me
because
tell
there's
you
a whole
something.
lot of deadbeat men out there too. Let's not forget that.
There was always a whole lot of that.
No,
man.
but you
There
remember
was-
that
the
also
analogy
created
you were giving
single
of the
women,
estrogen and
single
all that
yes,
extra
let me
stuff?
let me let
Men
me
aren't doing that
let
no
me
more.
let me get back. Let me get to my point.
But
Right.
the 1960 men are not 2024 men.
Forget about 2024 men.
But
They are-
that
they
is
are-
the
they are
point I'm trying to say.
We are at the point of a lost cause, and if we start shifting brains, we are just done as humanity. It's just done. If we start pointing and blaming and this, and we don't get to the point to see what is really going on.
But the question is, what is really going on?
And that is where I'm trying to get to. Because my whole life, right? You have your mom, you have your dad. I don't know about you. But I'm talking from experience of what I saw and what I have experienced. Right? Because when reality brought its receipts, and all of a sudden the little girl got to get to school at 5, right? But you are at 6, but you got to be at work at 5. And now me, as the son, that is only like 12 or 13. Now you are expecting me to fulfill the role of that.
A lot of single mothers are like that. They're expecting their son to fulfill.
Or the first daughter.
Yes.
Because sometimes
So,
the son is
so
not
then
what you
guess
want.
what? Now, at first, Dad used to, because although she didn't drive, right? So Dad would walk her all the way to the bus stop and then walk back. And now, at the age of 12, I'm walking you half a mile in the wintertime to the bus stop, and I'm walking back by myself in the dark. And I'm walking through the woods by myself.
Because of a decision that
Yeah, that's so
Because of the
deep.
A mother
decision that
made.
you wanted. So I walked back, and then guess what? One time we met this guy, big guy, Rastafarian, and he was like, "What the fuck are y'all doing in the woods?" Not knowing that every time he walked, my dad know the guy. So when my dad was there, right, he knew the guy because he walks there all the time, and sometimes when he come back, he would talk to him. So he looked at me. At first, he wasn't. Then he looked at me very well. He was like, "Robertson?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, where is he? I was like, "Long story." Right. So if you wanted to do something to us right there, that was it.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah.
But
Right.
you ever
And the
like
reality was bringing the check, and reality haven't stopped bringing the check.
How old is your mom now?
She's about
But you guys
66?
are old now. You guys have your own
no
family.
reality. Never bring back because
what
what
kind of
happens?
reality is she going to
what
face now?
happens?
You guys
this
are
is-
old now.
No,
Is it dead?
It's
no.
just that she's probably
No,
single
it's still
and
coming.
probably lonely.
No,
Yeah.
and that
Right?
loneliness is worse than anything else. Because
But that's
let
what
me
I'm
tell
saying.
you,
That's a
let me
good
tell you
point
something.
too.
The
Oh.
loneliness is worse than what was before. Because guess what? Now you are old, right? And because of all the things that we went through, my sister, as you were saying, is really, really tough. She's tough as nails, right? And that toughness, guess what? Because of that toughness, it's not bringing her back home. And then it got to a point that it was starting to look like more as like not even enemies. I wouldn't say enemies, but like competition between them. And now she is expecting me to play a role of a father, and it became so overwhelming that one day they came and I was gone. That's how I left home. They didn't know that I was leaving. One day they came and all my stuff was there, but I never showed back up. And at that time, I think I have just turned 18.
Did your mom ever apologize?
No. What
The
she
African
doesn't.
parent never
No,
apologized.
it's like this. She.
Like
I don't
African
think.
parents, like they don't owe any accountability
No,
to their kids.
that's the thing. And the thing too is this. She's still up to now think that she tried her best, she did this, she did that. But I was like, when Dad left, and now this is what's happening. Remember, nobody really wants single mothers. And that's why I'm saying that it will get to a point that men will become such a small pool that you see a lot of single mothers chasing married men. Remember last time we talked about why side chicks, and if you're a single mother and you go after married men, you're a side chick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why side chick are loyal?
That is-
to
Yeah, but
married
if
men.
men don't want single mothers, why? Even if single mother decided to rise the married, why would the married men ever go after
This is
them?
the thing.
Because you
This
guys
is the
don't
thing.
like they have kids.
But they want
This
to
is the
sleep with
thing.
them.
They don't want everything else that come with it, but yet
But
the
they will
single
sleep with
mothers are, yes, and that's where I say that the guy was talking about. The guy says single mothers are for recreational only. That's why I can see where he was coming from, of being single mothers being recreational only, because the men we are becoming such a finite to the point that you will see that the man that know how to be a man is all, and it attracts women. Opposites attract. So when you find a muscular man, man,
You have 100 women chasing that.
you have 100 million, they have choices.
Yeah, now they have
So
choices.
now you're single women, when he say
And
that,
that is how they begin to start looking
and then-
down on women now. Because
Yes.
now they have choices.
and then
Right.
so
That's what
many
is happening
it's
right
so
now.
many choices that it become overwhelming. And if he said that single mothers are for recreational only, is he lying?
But he's not lying. But he married a single. He married a woman
Yes,
with 2 kids.
I'm saying that he
so
may
indirectly you are insulting your wife.
Yes,
you a
yes,
hypocrite.
maybe he
That
may
makes
have,
him a hypocrite.
But his wife is not the only single mother. And let's say this, he can, because I can say
disrespected-
that.
No, you disrespected your wife
But
together with other single mothers.
100%.
let me tell you
Together.
this, the truth, the truth. If you are, if
If single mothers are for recreational purpose only, why did he marry one?
the thing is,
And that's
this,
what people are saying, that he's a hypocrite.
He's a hypocrite.
he
There's
can marry
no
one,
argument there. He's a
right?
hypocrite.
He can marry one.
So-
but what I just told you, right, about single man, right? I can say that if I say single women are for recreational only, right, and I'm married to a single one, right, with the explanation I gave you, did I lie?
Okay, I get what he's saying. So
They
it's
don't
like
lie.
regardless of if I married you
It's
or not, it
not
doesn't
about
change
me. It
the
doesn't
fact.
change the fact.
Yeah.
It doesn't change the system. I'm just one that is insignificant. We're talking about the whole system, the whole of what is really happening.
Yeah, but if you listen to that podcast, he has a whole different
That's a
agenda against when it comes to
yes.
single
Maybe
mothers.
he does. Maybe
But then
he
that's
does.
what, like, you married one. If you feel that type of way about single mothers, why marry one?
maybe
then?
he
And
does.
the woman is not just having one kid, so she has 2.
yes, maybe he did. But that
Maybe she
don't
got money.
that don't mitigate the facts
Oh no
of
no no!
what
He
is
said
happening.
he make $100,000, and that make him a high value man.
That's a nonsense.
Okay.
You see, high value men.
Same man.
You see,
same man.
You see,
That's the same guy that said because the reason why he
Anybody
said
can
that
talk.
because he said modern women do not deserve top tier men. And that
Anybody
is why
can
the
talk.
other woman was like, "So, are you a top tier man?" And then he was like, "Yeah, I'm 6'5", I make 100K. So because you are 6'5", if you make 100K, that is the same man who made that
don't.
statement. The same man that also said that single mothers are for recreational purpose only.
you see.
But then
He's
you
not
marry
okay.
one with 2 kids.
We already
let's
concluded he's not
say
okay.
this.
He's
Let's
not
say this,
okay.
right? Podcast, like the podcast we are doing now, right? A little bit of money can put this together, and then anybody can sit here and talk that bullshit that they want, right? Unless
But the
you
bullshit
yourself.
that you are saying, remember, people are going to listen
Yes.
to it, and people are also
And you
going
going home
Yes.
to somebody that's
Yeah.
living it.
And the thing is this.
Uh-huh.
You can say that. Like there's a certain things that I say that I don't even mind if my wife hears it
Mm-hmm.
because she will know that I'm talking about a system. I'm not saying that maybe if she's a single mother, I'm not saying that it's just her. right? Or it's just this. I'm talking about a system. Just like I was saying that reality bring her check. Like how reality brought the check to my mom, and now she's still at that point, right? Because guess what? When dad left, and all of a sudden I'm being cast as a father, and it get to a point that I can no longer do it, so I left.
Yeah,
right?
but you see, you don't talk down on something that you already in there. It's like you coming out to say that any girl out there that has been raped, they are lying. Meanwhile, your daughter or your sister has been raped. So that's what I'm saying. You don't talk down on something that you are already in it.
You said that
you are already experienced it.
You said that he said what?
A top tier man.
Okay. Do you know why I say that he's not a top tier man?
Why?
Okay.
You concluded
Top
when he
tier
said what
man,
he said.
right? Uses this. And nowadays, let me tell you, a lot of men don't have this anymore. Right? So they talk about, and anybody that just talk about when they, especially when you're on a podcast, don't forget, you're not talking about just to those people that's just sitting there. You're talking to the masses. And when you speak to masses, you better know that you should speak to the system, right? Maybe I may say, just as I said, single mothers are virus. Being a single mother are virus to the society, right? As I said, at one point, I became I was raised a single mother, right? And then somebody come and say that, you're a hypocrite because you were raised by a single mother. And then I would say that you are not intelligent enough. You better listen to the stuff that I say and get out of your head if you can, and really start learning how to think. That's where we are missing people of how to really think, how to get deep into a problem. All our problem, we end up being
too emotional,
and we are superficial, and we don't know how to put emotion aside and really think.
Just look at the facts
and really think of what is going on. Like the picture is right there, but emotions get so close, right? I could talk about, as I said, single mothers are a virus, because guess what? I grew up in one, so I know how virus and how devastating it can be, and how even up to date, right? It still affect my life.
Yeah.
Because guess what? My mom didn't get married again. And guess what? She's not still expecting me to play the role that if she was with my father would play.
Good.
Now she want me to be her comforter. But don't forget, I'm also now married with children. So at first when I was single, I could do more. I could be there more for you. But now it's no longer like that. Now she can't just call me and say, hey, where you at? She called me, my phone don't pick up because guess what? One of my kids is playing tic-tac-toe with it. And maybe at this point, you needed somebody to, now you are old. You needed somebody to get your medicine for you or put in the order for your medicine.
So good, yeah.
That if my dad was there, two old people can get together and do some
Figure
things.
it out together, yeah.
That's why I say reality is still bringing the checks.
Right.
And reality will keep bringing the checks, because guess what? All of a sudden, I can't see you anymore. Well, how many years? How many holidays are in a year? Maybe about 20 of them. And there's 365 days. And out of that 20, let's say I'm the best son. I see you 15 out of them. I'm not the greatest son. I see you 8. You don't get the 15. You get the 8.
Some of them you even get 2 out of them.
You get
2 out of them.
And Christmas and that's it.
And that's it.
And if you're not careful,
that could even
if
be
you're not
every other
careful,
year.
you might end up even in a nursing home and nobody's coming to see you.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And when you have 2 old people living together, right? One of them left hip don't work, but the other one left hip work. So he will use his better left hip. And that is where you see. That's why we don't see too many old people going together anymore. And then depressions are so high. Suicides are so high. So many. So now you see the virus I'm talking about. It doesn't just stop there. And now that thing has made such an impact in my life. Thankfully, God has given me some wisdom to really understand the problem. Or else it would have been a cycle. Because guess what? What happened to people that are raised by single parents. If you check, I bet you, I don't know the statistic, but I bet you that if you grew up in a single parent home, the chances of you being a single parent, 70 to 90%.
I beg, don't.
And the reason why I say that,
coming down.
and that I bet you if you do the research, you'll be
coming
like,
down. I beg, I
and
don't
you
want to
know
do that
why?
research.
Do you know why? Because it's normal to you.
It's not normal.
Look, because you lived in it so much, it become normal.
I said my mom raised by myself, so I cannot.
Do you know
by
why?
myself.
Yeah, and do you know why sometimes?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know why sometimes
Oh,
when
my
I say
gosh.
divorce,
that is so sad.
it doesn't scare me so much? Because I was grown up, I was raised in one.
You know what is so scary?
I was
wanna
baptized
actually
in one.
Add to what you're saying, and this is to what you literally just said. This is scary because me and my sister, you know, before
Not scared
she's
to be
married now,
alone.
but we were having a conversation, and it got to a point for, I would say, the thought process where it's like, I would say this is the first year where I ever in my life had a thought of being alone isn't comfortable. But for the most part of my life, I wasn't a feminist to the extent that people be arguing it, but there's nothing that Shala and my sister, there's nothing that we cannot do. If you tell me to build this house and I can't do it, I'll go and figure out a way to do it. To the point where I think, is it subconsciously or unconsciously,
Yes,
it's almost
subconscious.
like a man is a, by the way.
Yeah.
If you come around, you come around. If you don't, you don't. To the point where it's like, she was saying that she had already envisioned her future as a single person.
Mother. And once you envision it, do you know
That
what
is
happens?
so.
Do you know one thing? When you envision stuff, you not build foundation for it.
I feel like unless you have the wisdom that you're talking about,
Unless you
can
have the
change
wisdom and the
norm.
insight,
Yeah, you can
to
change
figure
the
out.
norm.
Now you have already created it, and guess what?
Oh, that is
And then
so-
the day that it comes out of your mouth, what does the Bible say? Speak it. The same tongue that we used to bless, we used to curse. At the same time, you said, I could do all bad all by myself. The universe start putting things together for you to be by yourself.
Yeah.
Because you have spoken it out.
is so
You have thought it.
crazy.
See, when you want something to happen, right? If you want to do something, there's a very, people don't get it, but there's a very simple formula. And that's what I used to get anything I want. The first thing is I think about it. And thinking about it is not superficial, just superficial. I will sit there and really analyze and think deeply, very deeply about it. Right? A single focus deep. Break it down to his genetics. And then I will talk about it. And I'll talk about it. And I'll talk about it. And then the more I talk about it, the more I started putting things together to manifest what that thing. And there's nothing in this world that I've ever wanted that I didn't get. That I truly, truly, truly want. And
I can relate. That is so
look,
scary.
this is how. Remember I said
That
when you
is so
meet that
scary.
certain guys run away. It was like that even with women. Look, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've dated some beautiful women. I don't know what the fuck they saw.
They saw a crocodile.
Until I figure out what the fuck I was doing. Because if I'm like, I see some bad chick, right? And I see everybody wants them. And I'm like, okay, this one I want. I start watching you. I start watching your behavior. I start learning from afar. I start learning your peaks. I start learning the type of guys you go with, the type of conversation you have. I will not draw close to you. I will be your friend enough, but I will stay back so I can watch you. And I can watch your behavior, and I can watch your takes, and I can watch your little things, and I can watch the things you do subconsciously, right? When I'm watching all that, I'm also watching your weaknesses, what breaks you and what breaks you. By the time I come in as a friend, I know where you fall short. And where you fall short, I'll start building it for you. And when I start building it for you, guess what? You become what? Independent of me.
Child. So
And
that's
even
what
that,
you
and
do.
even that, I haven't even come in as a relationship.
Jesus.
By the time I'm done with you, I want to be the last thing you think about before you close your eyes. Because guess what? If you don't have a car and you got to get to work in the morning,
that's what happened when you. That's why Mickey said, "Don't fall in love."
You see, he said, "Don't
When
fall
you
in love.
with this
Use
man,
your edge."
That's exactly what you're gonna do.
because
Wake
me, I
up,
use my head
everybody,
though.
wake up,
I use
oh.
my head. I use so now I know where I can lift you. So if I really want to lift you up, I'll get you into bricks mode. Now, if I want you to fall, it would take years for you to pick yourself back up.
Shit.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Learn to think deeply. Most men cannot. Most people don't have the ability to. But when you have the ability, nothing else. Like me, one thing I had to sit down and really think deeply. I'm like, okay, because I was raised by a single mother, what happened? Right? Number one, trust issues. Initially, when I was young, I would not let anybody do anything for me because I didn't trust anybody. Right? Number two, I was like, are you gonna commit or are you gonna leave like that? I don't know. So at that point, what am I doing? Until I thought to myself and I was like, not everybody is like that. So now let me look for those that are not like that. And whenever I go into that atmosphere, I better have somebody that can pull me out. And you can't pull yourself up. And going back to where you're saying that, wasn't it a man that did this and wasn't it a man that did that? When you get to that point, you need somebody that can pull you out. And what is the closest thing that can pull you out? Your significant other. The person you marry can make or break you. Right? Because immediately they come in your life, you have given them more power than you yourself have. Because guess what? If she's also very smart, she will also see your weakness. She will also see where you fall short. And she'll start providing that for you. Right? Start doing this. And that's why a lot of men, when their women leaves, right? Boom, it breaks their mind. And they go gaga. And they do, you would think like they're going after this woman, they're living their best life. No, nobody lived their best life going after multiple women and baby mamas and chaos. Nobody grow in chaos. All those men creating chaos are men with emotional problems. They're depressed total depression.
Well, there's a lot of them out there.
Total depression, right? And then now women start thinking that, oh, all men are like that, men this, men that. But guess what? It didn't start from now. But it's just as a civilized societies, we haven't really sat down to break down of why this is happening, right? So if you grew up in a single mother's world, whereby, see, women have maternal love, right? Women have unconditional love, right? But men don't. A lot of men do, right? So as a father like me, I always say I have conditional love. You do the things I like, I'm going to love you. You don't do the things I love, I'm going to fucking hate you. I'm like, you're a goddamn kid. Like, right? But mom don't do that. And you need that balance. Or else or that's why we have 40-year-old fools. Oh, because they are just because they get 40-year-old fools. The 40-year-old fools, right? Hey. They get all they have gotten all their life is unconditional love.
We are done. We don't want 40-year-old people coming beat us.
And if you're not careful,
so wrap it up and
if you're not careful,
we are done.
You're gonna marry a 40-year-old fool, and then by the time 40 years, by the time you are 50, you are a single mother.
So wrap it up and let's go.
OMG. But yeah, my last thoughts. I do agree 100% that single motherhood is a cancerous thing in our society. If we're answering the question as of how do we fix it, Jesus, because I think we're lost cause because I don't know what else to do or what else to say at this point. But definitely, honestly speaking, I guess for the younger generation and for those that still have a choice as far as whether we repeat the cycle, keep it going, or change it, just think twice before you lay in bed with somebody. And if you are choosing to lay in bed with somebody, I'm hoping that you are choosing to do the right thing, so we're not bringing more kids into this world that have to grow up in the same system. But
for me, I just felt like I wish women would just stop just opening their legs for just
yeah.
anybody.
If there's a
Because
100%
as a
solution, that's
result-
it. Yeah.
As a result of, because if you go on TikTok a lot
Mm-hmm.
and you do watch a lot of this TikTok podcast, and you see a lot of shit that these men say about
yeah.
women.
Yeah.
And these are men with sisters and mothers, right?
40-year-old fools.
Sisters and mothers, right? But at a point, you look at them, why are we blaming them on what they are saying? Because when you have women out there or girls out there throwing everything at them,
Why not?
They can easily find, a
100%.
vagina out there.
Yeah.
They can easily, give you a small little chicken change and they can easily sleep with you.
Yeah.
You have girls sign up for OnlyFans and, showing their breasts and a whole lot, and it's so easy.
Yeah.
Now, sex is so easy access for men.
Right.
So when you have things that makes us women more valuable, things that makes men want to work so hard to get,
Yeah.
now they don't have to work too hard to get anything.
They don't even have
they
to
can
work
easily
hard.
have it,
Yeah.
right? And so when they can easily have it, of course they're going to talk down about it. When you can easily have something, you don't respect that thing anymore.
100%.
And I feel like if women are able to, so instead of us saying that, oh, men can't tell us what we can do with our body, because you have I've seen a lot of shows with black men talking about how they don't like BBLs, they don't like those kind of stuff. They want them, they're natural. Women should stop shaking their asses on social media. But meanwhile, a lot of these women were doing it because of the men.
Damn.
And now the men are coming back and saying that
We don't
y'all
want
need to
that.
stop doing that.
Yeah.
Because some of these men, they have daughters in the house, right? So they're saying stop shaking your asses, stop twerking. All of those kind of stuff. We look at it, we like it, but we're not going to wife it.
There you go.
You see, we're not going to wife
That's
it.
good.
So if we women consciously, if we understand the logic behind it, okay, you know
Yeah.
what? I feel like moving forward, if every woman decided, I'm not going to open my legs and sleep with you. I'm going to stop doing porn. I'm going to stop doing OnlyFans.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop twerking. I'm going to stop being naked on social media.
Yeah.
Trust me, the men will sit there like, okay, now. We are
And
not
I
getting
agree.
anything for free. We're not
Yeah.
watching things for free now.
Yeah.
Now we got to respect it anymore.
Women have
we're not
more power
respecting
than
it
they
because
give themselves credit for.
my point.
Yeah.
You understand? So
Actually,
that for me, that's what I think I would say. Please don't throw another bomb.
No,
Let me end it.
not at the bomb. Men actually like chivalry, right?
Of course.
It's something that is building us, but chivalry comes in two ways, right? When you find that nice girl that is respectable, that you don't see her wearing G-strings on internet, right? That knows how to be feminine in herself.
Now, those are the
There
ones
is-
that you guys cheated on.
No, there's something so beautiful about that.
Yeah, but y'all
And
cheated
then-
on
We
them.
about to go in
You
a
see- you see,
cycle.
the-
We about to go in another
you
circle.
see,
Right.
the reason, and then guess who is cheating on them? Is that 40-year-old fool that grew up in a single mother's house?
Oh, but it's not all of them that are 40. I'm telling you.
I'm
a lot
just
of
saying
them talk
40,
about
some
how
of them
they
20,
don't-
30.
They don't want this type of da-da-da-da-da-da. They
are
want
lying.
the traditional girl. They get a traditional girl. They get that is natural. They get that is respectful,
And they mess up.
submissive. And guess whom you guys cheat on with? The one that y'all said you don't want. You don't want a wife.
Well,
So
you
you
know,
would rather mess up your marriage with a woman that fits what you want with the one that you don't want.
But
And
remember,
when that
you
woman
said
said that
something-
they want to leave, you don't understand why they're leaving.
Remember when you said something earlier where you said there's a difference between what
Look,
you
if
want
you
and
don't
what you
stop
need.
at
Yeah,
I have an atomic bomb coming over.
No, we are done. We are done. No, don't be your mom.
I have a nuclear weapon coming.
I
Big
beg.
deal.
Real stuff. Okay,
From-
next
from-
week.
from
Next
that.
week, I'll break a Russian bomb.
Yeah.
Russian nuclear bomb.
Yeah, so I mean, thank you guys very much for watching the Diaspora Mo. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation. Again, we wanted to delve into the whole single mothers, right? Not single women, but single mothers. There's a lot of society, conversation that is happening when it comes to them. Some are saying that single mothers are for recreational purpose only. This man over here also said that they are what? They are
viruses.
they are viruses. I mean, some of them were raped. Circumstances took them there.
Yeah.
Some
What is the
Don't even start. Though that's
Be
a
quiet.
sensitive one. You better
Be
die
quiet.
before they cut your head for sure.
exactly. Some
My head
have
is
been
already
raped.
cut off.
No.
Some have been raped. But
90% of women
but
are
you
raped.
are right. Not every woman,
10% of
not every
women are
single
raped.
mothers
The
out
few
there
ones,
God
that's
damn
at
it, you're
least-
have been
1%.
raped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even 1%.
But since we
0.001.
are top, excuse me, since we are talking, we consider all
consider
factors
them.
also.
Yeah, for sure.
Be nice, right? I mean, we're not here to judge, but again,
Yes, we are.
it's
Go ahead.
for discussion purpose only, right? Again, we don't want to, really talk about this whole single mothers. It's not just here in America. I believe it's in Africa, it's in America, it's in Western world, it's in a lot of places. And I know we can do better as women, right? And so we can stop ourselves from being single mothers out there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these men out there now, they're fronting upon single mothers. It's not even sexy anymore to be a woman with kids. And I watched another podcast and they were talking about how even a woman, as you age and as you keep having kids, your value drops. So right now, it's only when you are in your early 20s, when you hit 30, that is when it's like you're a hot cake to the man. After you hit from 30 going and you start having
They don't
kids,
like you no more.
it's like your value drops now. So it's like nowadays the women we are dead in society. But I mean, let me know what you think, right? Please don't come and beat me up. Don't beat Mr. Tintin or Shola. Everybody have their own opinion. If you disagree with Mr. Tintin, it's okay. You can comment it and we will reply back to you, okay? But please be nice, okay?
Only non-delusional people would disagree.
Please be nice and follow us on all platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Subscribe to this channel so we can grow this channel. And I'll see you next week. Bye.
Are we done?
This is Diaspora Moments by Dion London.